It's a secret society. All they ask is trust. Blessings to everyone joining me. This is Magnetic Intuition. I hope you're having a blessed day. I hope the weather's good where you at, you know. Where I'm at, there's been a lot of rain. Today's been a blessed day though. You know. Not too much sunlight. If you know me, you know I love the sun, you know. I'm the son of the sun, so more or less. We always have a happy day though, regardless. So, of course, I have a rare topic that most people don't want to talk about. But you know, the crazy thing about it is there's a community out there that talks about these topics, and you know, it definitely has to do with manhood, and that community is called the semen retention community. And they basically talk about lust, they talk about masturbation and all that. So I think it's time for me to drop a video on lust and masturbation. I did have a video that I put out called the Big Booty Effect, where it touches on that, you know. I talk about basically how the secret societies are basically trying to put lust onto me, but of course other targets, right? By putting whatever type of women you like, whatever you're attracted to in front of you every time you go to different places, you know. Like for me, I mentioned that when I go to the gym, when I'm going inside the gym, they have a big booty chick walk in front of me. Because they know I like big booties, you know? Like most black men, right? But more or less, what you like is what you like, right? And if you're into slim chicks, then they're going to send slim chicks to you and they're going to walk them right past you every time, you know, you go to the gym. Like me, when I'm leaving the gym, going to the gym, working out, there's always a big butt in front of me, right? And I can't say I dislike the visual, but you know, the reality is it's all psychology. You understand what I'm saying? And there's two things that's gonna happen. Either you're gonna go and try to talk to that woman, or you're gonna fantasize about that woman, right? And of course, if you're into sexual activity, then there's a good chance that you're probably going to masturbate, or you're going to find another woman to fulfill that need, right? And always the right answer is to, you know, stay abstinent as much as possible. I can't even say that word. But the number one answer is to hold the energy if you can, you know? So that's what I want to talk about, masturbation and lust, right? So let's get into it. So I have a situation, of course, that I always talk about, right? That secret societies are always sending witchcraft and black magic my way, right? So I'm having to alchemize it by staying high vibrational and ignoring a lot of the negative energy that comes to me, right? And one of the things that the secret society is actually shaming me for is masturbation, right? And it's such a contradiction to me, right? Because it's one thing that we'll never understand, right? If you believe in the Most High, right? One thing you'll never understand is how could someone send sexual energy and lust your way through magic, right? Or witchcraft, and then shame you for doing what they sent, that the energy they sent you, or the visuals that they send you by sending people, you know, like I said, to the gym or to the park, you know, that have, you know, big butts, whatever you're into, they send those people your way. And then when you actually do the act that they want you to do, which would be masturbation, now they they all of a sudden like shame you for it. So let me explain how secret societies shame me for masturbation and lust, right? So let me give you a perfect example, right? So let's say if I'm in the act, right, and I'm like my body's pumping. I'm like, yo, I gotta get rid of this, right? This energy, right? Which is not a good thing. Like I said, like it's something that I continue to work on every single day, right? And I decided I'm gonna do the act, right? And all of a sudden, I hear a horn beep, right? Now this is how weird these people are, right? They'll watch you while you're doing masturbation. I had a coworker, older Caucasian lady I worked with back in the summertime. She literally came in my dream state and told me that she was watching me masturbate under my covers. I was like, yo, like, how weird can these people be? So I think a lot of times, like, we think that I'm talking about the people that believe in the Most High, right? We think that we're around all regular people, and we think that our bosses and our judges and attorneys and police officers and our Starbucks worker, just it could be anyone, right? That's in these cults, right? And then at the same time, they're watching me or another person that's targeted, chosen one, or someone that's a truth teller. They're watching us do private things, and then they do things like beep their horn outside or have their car alarm go off. Or I have someone banging, like if I'm looking at a beautiful woman on YouTube or something. It's just the weirdest things, man, you'll ever know. But of course, I'm going to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't hold no shame. I don't hold no shame, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could sit here and tell you my weaknesses and use it as motivation and give you my stories so you can be a better person. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm striving for better every day, regardless of any struggle that I have. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, for a secret society, satanic secret societies, to shame me or anyone that believes in the Most High for anything is a contradiction. The biggest contradiction you can have, right? Because like I said in past videos, these are the same people that steal children, molest children, kill people for their insurances, their life insurance, wills that were left behind for them, steal their cryptocurrencies, lie and manipulate, against people, have smear campaigns against people, because they don't believe in religion or any of their satanic occult beliefs that they have. Because just remember, occult just means hidden. So occult isn't necessarily bad, right? So for me, it's nothing for me to come on here and talk about these things, about masturbation and lust. So I'm going to break down how masturbation started in my life, right? Because I've had situations where I've gone months without it, Like right now, right? I'm on a 2-year no sex situation right now, right? I've been like no sex or nothing, right? So I'm proud of that, you feel me? Like, and plus, I was being manipulated, right? In different situations I was in, right? And secret societies are sending witches my way to destroy me. So I can't really be out here just dating people like that, So that's why I said it's essential for you to hold your energy. Can't let lust and masturbation overpower you. If you like something and you see it, and you're attracted to it, there's nothing wrong with that. You're human, you're a man, you understand what I'm saying? And same thing with a woman, right? If you like to masturbate, you know, I don't know how that affects your body. Like a man, we get weaker, you understand what I'm saying? Like my enemies, when they see I done masturbated while they're watching on the camera, weirdos. Well, while they watching on the cameras, right? And call my dream state and tell me I was masturbating, they know that I'm in a weaker state than I was on a day that I didn't masturbate. You understand what I'm saying? Which is a true thing, right? Because when men have sex, they feel usually most I would assume most men feel weaker because if they ejaculated, right, then they would feel weaker, right? But if they didn't ejaculate, it's a different story. So there's a way you can have sex without ejaculating, right? But that's a whole nother video, right? So anyway, let me start on how I started masturbating. Now, back in high school, you know, guys used to talk about it all the time. And I knew what it was, but I didn't care for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't something I cared for, you know? Like, guys, I remember I broke my wrist while playing basketball. And a couple of guys were like, yeah, you must have been jerking off when you broke your wrist, huh? You know, just joking around. And I didn't really care because I didn't do this type of stuff, you know? It wasn't until I was like, I want to say 17, 18 is when I first actually did that. And the same thing with sex, right? Same thing with sex. I was like 17. So it's like this stuff was so new to me. So when I started doing that stuff, you know, it did have a effect because the porn came in. And of course, anyone that watches porn is masturbating. There's no question about that. You're not watching porn for masturbating. And if you watch it and you're not masturbating, no heck, congratulations, bro. You know how to control your energy. But everyone that has discipline knows that porn that's a no-no. If you watch porn, get that out of your life, man. That is mental distortion at its greatest, right? So anyway, more or less, it started, and one of the main reasons why I started doing it was because my old man, my fake dad, whatever, right? I believe he's a Mason. I don't talk to my family like that anymore. So anyway, he would always tell me like, yeah, you need to start masturbating because you're not having sex. These are things he used to tell me in high school. And I believe it started in middle school. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna just be safe and say high school, which is the worst like advice you could give to anyone, right? Is to tell them to masturbate. No way. You're giving up your life force. You're giving up your power. You understand what I'm saying? So that's another thing, right? If you have a partner, if you have a girlfriend or a wife, you know, then you would think that it's easier to not do that. But when you have that hunger of lust, you may still masturbate even if you have a girlfriend or wife. I've talked to guys that are married that still masturbate even though they have a wife, right? Because they said, hey, you have to masturbate when you're married, right? And I don't know anything about that because I'm not married. But I can only assume the reason why they're saying that is because they don't want to go out there and cheat. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of being lustful and cheat, they would just masturbate. Or another thing is the wife might not want to have sex, right? So that's another thing that comes up. Is the fact that the reason why they masturbate is because the wife doesn't want to have sex. So, yeah, it's an interesting situation. And me being a chosen one earth angel, you know, of course I've talked in my other videos. So y'all already know. If you're watching this video, you've seen most of my videos, and you know that my mission is to shut all that devil worshiping, satanic BS that's going on, right? To shut that down and bring peace to this world, right? So for someone like me that's on that mission, the devil works like 1,000 times harder, right? And like I said, the witchcraft is coming. And it's always about lust, whether it's in my dreams, like I said, whether it's in person, whether it's on YouTube, like videos will be recommended to me. And let's say I probably haven't watched any like women-oriented videos in months. There's a couple of times it's happened to me. And I'm like, how does this even pop up in my feed? So it's technology as well. They're using technology to get me to be lustful. So I could lose my energy, right? So the fight for discipline is number one, you know? Like I said, if I see something I like, I'm not gonna ignore it, right? But I have to focus on keeping my energy, right? Because I could look at something all day, but if I could discipline myself to overcome the lust of and masturbating, then I can overpower the lust that's in my face, right? And that's what I want to get to. And I've had plenty of enemies, frenemies. They used to send me pictures of women naked and big butts and all that, you know, when they knew I was doing semen retention. Which is semen retention, if you don't know, is basically not masturbating, not having sex, and just keeping your energy and basically using that sexual energy to create. You understand what I'm saying? The smartest, most influential people in the world studied semen retention. They lived it. You understand what I'm saying? So, of course, me, the I am, the son of the sun, has to reach to the top. There's no limit for me. So that's gonna be a goal of mine. And the secret societies know this. That's all I could talk about. It's no secret. You know? And it should be everyone else's goal, right? Whether you're a man or woman, to keep your energy and create. So anyway, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. We're almost at 20 minutes. So please take the knowledge, turn it into wisdom. Use it as a daily motivation. Keep your energy. Keep the fire. Keep the chi. I'm Magnetic Intuition. I'm out of here.